Hello from Board Developer. It's Business Ahas, a show about the eureka moment that launched you into the next level of success. I'm here with your host, Jim Hayden, and I'd like to introduce Mikey Maynard, a world authority. In predicting and unlocking top performance in the workplace, he specializes in employee workplace behavior. Mikey has a proven method to discovering top performers in any industry. He spent his obligatory 30 years in corporate life before developing his own company, a company that focuses on what he loves, people. We simply must know his business aha. Take it away, Jim.
Oh my gosh, Danny, thank you so much for the introduction of Mikey Maynard. And I can't tell you how excited I have to have my friend Mikey here today. What he isn't going to share with you that his better half, Mickey, is an amazing cook. I enjoyed her company immensely because she knows how to pair wine better than anybody else I think I've ever met in my entire life. We've had the pleasure of going to their home more than once for a meal, and it's been absolutely a divine opportunity to become friends with Mikey. And as you all may be aware or maybe not be aware, for our business ahas moment, I don't know what the aha moment is. So every guest that we invite, like Mikey today, is going to share with us what his aha moment is. We're going to kind of walk through that together, and I'm going to be as surprised as everybody else. And as also a reminder, on the call with us today is both Danny and Carrie, who are our co-producers of Business Ahas. Mikey, thank you very much for being a longtime good friend, confidant, and now colleague. And I'm very excited to have you be with us today. So with that, take it away. And I am bated breath, my friend.
Well, and greetings to you and to everybody who's joining today. What a pleasure. And my aha kind of runs in league with some of your other presenters. But what I noticed about several ahas like Joel Strom's is the business aha that came, or the life aha, was from a repeated series of occurrences or a string of events or something like that. I can tell you mine was different, Jim. Mine came to me literally in a moment's time with no warning. I can even give you the date and time, 5 a.m. on the morning of the 9th of July, 2019. And it literally came as a punch in the stomach. And what it immediately revealed to me is I have been wrong my whole career life about the role that business development plays in driving an organization's revenue velocity. And in fact, I've even concluded since, because I've spent a couple or 3 years of detailed, diligent research on this, I think what most people believe about business development is headed for disaster. And in our aha today, I'd like to share some of what I've learned as a result of a punch in the gut. In the event, it can save time, trouble, and duress to others that are watching.
Shoot. May 2019, punch in the gut,
Yeah.
5 o'clock in the morning.
Yep, July 2019, I'm slated to do a kickoff keynote speech in Silicon Valley for a global cybersecurity company. It'll kick off 3 days of their World Sales Summit and so forth. They've brought in board members and key officers and managers and the like, have them all assembled in a conference hotel just off the San Francisco airport runway. And Jim, I'm doing the same thing that morning you would do, over preparing. Right? The slide deck's already in the can. It's already approved. I've just re-ironed my freshly laundered shirt and slacks. You know, what the prepared chicken and peas circuit speakers like I tend to do, you know, a bit before the meeting. And I'm up early, about 4:30. And literally what's happening at that moment, I'm in the washroom, I'm shaving. And Jim, I got to tell you, something broke inside my abdomen. My wife, Mickey, who you alluded to, travels with me, as you know. I went and woke her up and I said, honey, I can't tell you what's going on, but something broke. And Jim, when I say broke, it was literally as violent an effect on my body as if I had been physically punched. I literally, you know, rocked back and forth standing in front of the sink. And my brain just said, this is really, really bad. Well, long story, more clinical than your viewers would like to hear about. I can tell you that within 24 hours of that moment, I was on an emergency air flight from San Francisco back to Phoenix, where I reside, headed for the miracle workers at the Dignity Healthcare Network that you've got a many year long affinity with, and would ultimately have a medical catastrophe that I'm proud to say today is completely solved, not likely to recur. 2 miraculous surgery teams taking 6 hours time, completely rebuilt major organ systems that had failed. And as you might imagine, it gave me a lot of time to contemplate. And if I can, Jim, I'd like to take you through what that connection, that event has with my aha moment about business development of all things.
I'm fascinated.
So in that era, I was a kind of lone wolf, world-class, broadly, if you will, I just call myself a consultant. Fortune 200 clients all over the world, literally clients from Accenture to ZipRecruiter and every alphabetical letter in between, who relied on me for knowledge of things like where to find talent and how to onboard superstars and the like. But I'd made a grave mistake. I had literally dropped my responsibility to my family and my company because I was a lone wolf, and suddenly, with no warning, finding myself unable to work. How does a guy who produces 100% of his company's revenue through his personal endeavors keep a revenue streaming to the corp, keep a retirement possibility through valuation of the company in the future for the family? It was just wrong. It was a cataclysmic bad decision on my part. So I instantly reinvented myself and made a vow, literally laying in one of those terribly uncomfortable hospital beds, to no longer try to seek clients for myself personally, but to do business development and bring clients to others. Today, as you well know, I bring clients to Board Developer. I don't personally service them. I don't get that through contracting. I don't bill and collect. I don't handle escalation issues. I just go find the opportunity. I suppose my business development these days is like an it's just lunch date between an organization with an opportunity, issue, or problem and the teams at Board Developer. And if the it's just lunch works out, then we go forward and I move on and set up another date, if you will. But what I learned about business development by doing a diligent subsequent study of it is it's not what we think it is. And I'd like to share with viewers 2 or 3 classic common mistakes, misapprehensions, misuses that we tend to make of the business developer or business development team or function in the event it would save somebody else from making a crucial and potentially fatal mistake. And the reason I say fatal, I've watched as really forward-looking, important organizations decide for the first time in their history to start a dedicated business development function. And they're really excited, the owners or operators of the company, their board, their investors, because this is going to be dedicated function. It should bring a hockey stick in growth to the revenue of the business. And 18 months later, the business development person's fired and everybody's pissed off, bitter, and unhappy. And it's because of the same mistakes being made over and over again. Here's what I've learned. Number 1, the function of business development is different than marketing, and it's different than sales. Confusing business development with either marketing or sales or both is going to fail. And here's why. Marketing and sales are designed to improve the speed of revenue growth in your organization. Marketing's really busy producing leads. Sales is really busy qualifying and attempting to close those leads. And it's designed to cause speed, which is the measurement of time it takes to traverse 2 measurement points, to increase. So in fiscal year 2020, our revenue was X millions. In 2021, we want that to increase to X plus Y millions. That's a speed increase. Biz dev is different. Business development is a velocity play. And in physics, velocity is different than speed. Velocity is speed in a particular direction. So with business development, we're trying to get growth in revenue, but it has a quality metric, actually 3 metrics to it. And business development delivers a fundamentally different set of prospective clients, customers, and deals to your organization because it's engineered to deliver them in a particular direction. So mistake number 1 is we hire someone and give them the title business development, but what we really want them to do is bring in leads, and so we pay them for bringing in leads. I'm sorry, that's the marketing function. So it's confusion. No, we hire the business development person, and what we want them to do is go sell and close deals. And we craft a comp plan to drive closing deals. No, that's the sales function. And it will fail. It will crash, burn, and disintegrate if you make either mistake. So what we need to do is understand the fundamental goal of business development with a 3-part velocity metric. Done right, business development should deliver up customers that have 3 qualities. 1, they are more desirable than the rank and file customer prospect. Marketing and sales are designed to go get customers. They don't have to have a particularly fine filter on who they are. It's get them, sign them up, ship the order, collect the payment, right? Business development is uniquely looking out there in the prospect marketplace for highly desirable clients or customers. Now, we love all our customers, right? We appreciate and are grateful that we have every one of them. But you look at any book, any territory, or any company's portfolio of customers, and you'll find some of them are a little more profitable or more fun to work with, or they make doing business easy, or they renew automatically without a big fight, or they refer friends and colleague businesses over already pre-qualified. And I can go on and on. We smile because we think of some of our favorite customers.
Sure.
Those are the ones as prospects, no transaction has occurred yet, that BizDev needs to deliver up exclusively. It's a higher caliber, higher tier target, and I mean target in the nicest of ways there. So my first way to measure business development success, Jim, I know you like the term KPIs, key performance indicators. The first one is desirability. Is our business development function delivering a more desirable client? Whatever that looks like in your world. Second, frequency. So the job of marketing is to produce MQLs, marketing qualified leads. Those go over to sales, hopefully in high volume, and salespeople then sift through them and turn them into SQLs, sales qualified leads. Those which they are able to convert become an opportunity to do business. Wow, that's a lot of steps. Business development should deliver up a prospective client or customer that essentially already knows what they're looking for in a solution, what it costs, how it works, so on and so forth. And so if I, to board developer, bring a prospective client, the frequency, Jim, with which you close those should be pretty good. It should run, business development should run really close to 100% closing rate, believe it or not, though it's not the business developer who does the closing. It's the rest of the organization starting with sales.
Is it fair to say, Mikey, that as long as that business development leader completely understands the Kool-Aid?
Oh, you'd have to.
If you don't understand the Kool-Aid and understand not only how to pour it, how to help somebody taste it, then you aren't able to sell it well.
Which is very often why I find that the people selected to do that function, business development, rather have my lovely color blonde hair. Been around the block a while, done the thing for a while, sort of been there, done that kind of thing. And also a component that I think you're getting at that's really important in business development is the business developer or team need to be very trustworthy and trustable. So that if I'm telling someone this service or product is useful, I'm not making that up. And we'll get to that later, how you completely set the objectives and measurements for sales different from business development. And the third quality, KPI in Jim Hayden terms, I hope it's not offensive to anybody. It's what I call pregnancy. The opportunity, by the time it's presented and there's an introduction by the business developer to the rest of the team, it should be ready to close. It should require minimal exertion and minimal devotion of company resources to get it over the finish line. And Jim, I don't know if you've ever had any of those, if you've signed up clients for the various service offerings of Board Developer, but that might be something like is classically called a one-call close, or it may only take a meeting or two. They're pretty much prepped. They're pretty much ready. The child's going to get delivered. And in sales, that's rarely true. There's a huge amount of salesperson time, I would actually say wasted, on chasing false leads, things that can't be won, opportunities there's really not a net fit for, so on and so forth. And in fact, on that pregnancy statistic, I will tell you that a very large industry-leading B2B software as a service company headquartered in Scottsdale, they're actually the industry leader in enterprise call center management systems. Aspect Software is the name. They're a very well-known player in the business. They're number one in their industry. They recently did a study of how long it takes a account executive to get one of their large enterprise deals landed and done. And the answer from first contact to finally the purchase order has been received by Aspect Software, 225 days. And that's not unusual in big ticket, expensive, mission critical stuff. It's not a surprise. But here's the shocker. They also did a lost deal analysis and calculated by speaking to customers they did not win the business with, but customers who were kind enough to share perspective, do some coaching, that the deals that were lost at about day 180, meaning the sales team kept selling, kept reporting it in their pipeline, kept moving it through Salesforce or whatever they're using for 45 more wasted days where no profit or earnings are going to come to the corporation as a result, because they're chasing stuff that they don't understand the desirability, the frequency of close, and the pregnancy of the opportunity. Does that make sense, Jim?
Total sense. Total sense. So Mikey, I want to back up a step actually. So business leaders and entrepreneurs who start their business, if they have any sense of success, other than obviously we both believe in the adage, I'd rather be lucky than smart, right? These leaders get into business and become entrepreneurs, and they are lucky in the sense because they actually have marketing, a certain level of sales, and business development in one person, which I'm assuming you would call a unicorn.
I would call it a unicorn, but sometimes as entrepreneurs, we're forced into that, right? We can't pay for a dedicated resource for everything we're going to do. So it's, well, I carry my deposits to the bank at night, and late at night, I'm doing my own IT. And then tomorrow I've got to go on a sales call, right?
Yep. Welcome to being in a one-man show of a new business and having a business grow. It's fascinating that because as this business leader or leaders within a business finally decide they're going to hire a business development expert, or they're going to bring on board an additional team member that's going to lead sales, or they're going to bring on an additional team member that's going to provide marketing for them. So business development, sales, and marketing often, as you well know, kind of get clumped into one category. And simply put, the aha is unclump it and take it apart, and don't allow them to intermingle with one another. If you do, you will fail.
You will if you perpetually do. I'm okay to allow you start more lumped, but just like so much with business, Joel Strom was talking about this on a Business Aha we just watched. Have a plan. Execute on the plan. The plan allows you to know what you're not going to do, just like it knows what you are going to do. And so have a migration path to where you dedicate. The best analogy I can think of, I was thinking of it just as you were talking about unclumping. Suppose that we had a college sports team. You pick the sport that you like, from rowing to football to lacrosse or whatever. Well, that function's going to need a coach. Well, you know what? Let's just have one of the students who's on the lacrosse team be the coach for the lacrosse team. You can do that for a while. If it's things like plays and offense and defense and when to substitute, I think that probably could be done. But what about when you got to recruit for the class that's 4 years out? A lot of people in college don't know how to recruit for college. So the skill set is different. The activities are different. Ultimately, the goal of coaching a team is different than staffing the team. And so we wouldn't usually find an award-winning college sports team where the coach is 19 and a half years old. It could happen. Notre Dame University kind of did it because as soon as their quarterback graduated, they put him as the offensive coordinator. So we're getting close, but probably you recruit from a different talent pool that has different sets of life experiences. Not every great coach even necessarily played the game. Fair enough. Not every great business developer necessarily came up through the ranks in marketing or sales. Also, there are some key differences that the lumping gets very frustrating with. So first of all, skill sets and activities are different. Second, sales cycle's different. We talked about account executives selling software that takes 225 days. As a business developer, I've got deals in the pipe, Jim, that I've been working anywhere from 3 to 12 years. The readiness is just not there in the client organization, but they know where we're heading them. They're highly aware. They're getting educated. They're setting money aside. Okay. It's just not going to land quickly. I'm not going to do an aggressive outbound call center campaign to do business development. These deals percolate different.
And where you hit the nail on the head there, Mikey, is that's okay. And for the leadership to understand that that's okay, for them to say, well, your sales cycle should be X. Throw that out the window. The sales cycle needs to be whatever it needs to be after you've defined what are those desirable clients. After you've defined what is that frequency, and if you have the ability to deliver the pregnancy, the sales job at the end of the day should be easy.
That sales cycle should be dramatically short.
So from your perspective in the world of business development, would you say that it starts with marketing, goes to business development, and ends with sales?
That's a great question. I was just having that conversation this week with Rick Stoddard. And Rick is a professional business developer. It's what he does in life. And he asked me, so where should this business development function report to? It doesn't seem like it would report directly to a sales manager because, Jim, as you just said, the sales manager is going to be thinking 225 days, get it closed. And that's probably not going to happen. So it's probably not a good reporting relationship. Rick said, could it maybe be to the chief revenue officer? I said, it certainly could. But in a lot of markets, we don't have companies big enough to even have a CRO. So if there isn't one, then that reporting doesn't work. We discussed that maybe it could report to the chief financial officer because the KPIs that I've defined should be bringing business. And the chief financial officer should be able to calculate, for example, the compensation structure for the business developer, because I find that deals relevant for business development usually are higher margin, sometimes higher revenue deals. They would not be the ones that Joel Strom talked about where they were high revenue with no profit, because you've got to contemplate this whole new function, biz dev. So I'm kind of in favor, believe it or not, of a chief business development officer who is accountable to the board, to the investors, to the customers and the stakeholders, because you should show improvements in those 3 KPIs while sales and marketing keep right on doing what they're doing. And the way we grow those is we add a bunch more bodies typically. So keep adding the bodies to those departments. Biz dev needs to be held accountable for a completely different kind of deliverable, I believe.
And would you be fair to say, from your perspective, a good business development leader within an organization is truly a white glove person?
I think so. There's a certain cachet to the client that they're bringing in. There's a lot more foundational trust that has to exist. And often business development as a daily activity is much more intimate with a community. For example, I am very intimate, as you know, with the banking sector in our economy. I like banks. I like that banks are the cardiovascular system of our economy. You couldn't live without them. And I like who banks' customers are. So I'm doing a lot of volunteering and pro bono work and meeting without trying to monetize anything, so that the banking community knows if they ever needed help with governance, with revenue growth, with better customer satisfaction results, Mikey Maynard be a guy they probably can talk to. And if I reported to a sales manager, none of that activity would be rewarded. I'd probably be on a permanent HR written warning for abandoning my call center seat and not making 100 dials a day and not having 4 hours of talk time and a pipeline that has at least $2 million in it.
So it's about quality, high touch, and trust.
I think that's
Mikey,
definitely it.
Absolutely fantastic. Thank you very, very much for sharing today. I think that listeners should listen to this more than once and really take heed.
I'm also in the act of authoring a book that's based on my last 3 years of research since my punch in the gut and my wake up moment. And users and viewers of this will be able to pre-register for a free copy of that book through Board Developer when published. So we'll get that in all your viewers' hands if they have a deeper interest. I'm actually not writing the book, I'm editing it. And I'm tapping on people who do business development effectively every single day as a way to feed their company and feed their family. They'll be the actual authors. That's why Rick Stoddard and I were chatting recently. That's why Mark Boundy and I were chatting recently. There are people out there that do this. They just aren't doing it the way we classically stereotype and get it all muddy and lumped in with classic marketing and classic sales.
So with all due respect, in the world of thinking out of the box versus staying in the box, this is when Danny gets the ability to use her favorite bleeping when we talk about the world of the box.
That's FTB,
Mikey,
isn't it? Can't we just acronym that?
We can acronym it to be an FTB. And the box and the way that we think about it and the way we've done business development and the way we've grown our companies needs to be thought about differently. And you're absolutely correct. And all too often, people are still stuck in the term of TQM for total quality management back in the 80s. Those days are long gone. And the way that you build business development and relationships with people are all about what you just said. So on behalf of our team, Mikey, thank you so very much for being with us today. We look forward to feedback from you all based upon today's presentation from Mikey and talking about kind of his punch in the gut, which was literal, and that punch in the gut truly made a difference in your life and now will make the difference in many lives from here to come. Thank you very much, Mikey. Until next time, take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Board Developer team.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for joining Business Ahas, brought to you by Board Developer. If you could relate to Mikey's punch in the gut or his business aha moment, please be sure to like, subscribe, follow, and share. All the things we love to do. We'd really appreciate it.